So now we finally come down to these ones in the Halloween series. There's this one of my subscribers, probably my biggest fan on this channel. Cynthia Sin. She loves my rants, so you're gonna like these two videos. I can promise you that. Rob Zombie's Halloween, 2007 remake. This is a movie that I have gone a complete 180 on in my life. I was 2007 came out Halloween time, so I was an angry sophomore in high school when this came out. At that time, I had seen all the Halloween films, except for I think like part 6. I had seen John Carpenter's original. I liked it. I liked it a lot, but I don't think I appreciated it. I didn't really appreciate it, but this one I liked at the time because it was brutal. The kills were definitely more hardcore. They were bloody. It had the backstory for Michael Myers. You know, like before he killed his sister, around then even when he was put away in the sanitarium. And at the time, I found all that interesting. It wasn't until after watching this many times as a fan of this movie that I then started going back and really getting into older horror movies, even though I've always loved older horror movies. But I started watching John Carpenter's original even more. And I started loving it and appreciating it more. And Halloween is now, the original is in my top 25 favorite horror movies of all time. It is tied for my favorite slasher film, along with the original Friday the 13th. Upon realizing that, the more I watch that, and the more I watch this, the more I realize Rob Zombie missed the fucking point of Halloween. Yeah. I mean, okay. Let's go way back. If you want more information on this, go to Rambo Raff for Life. Watch his epically hilarious rant on this. He can fill you in on more of the details about what I'm about to talk about. Apparently, you can find online interviews with Rob Zombie. Now, I'm going to start off by saying I like Rob Zombie as a person. I like him as a musician. I'm not the biggest fan of his films. I can see where he's coming from with them. His executions might not always be the best. Like, I would probably say House of a Thousand Corpses is my favorite Rob Zombie film. That's because I have not yet seen 31 or 3 from Hell. But I would say Lords of Salem is his most mature. You know, I do believe he's a fan of horror of all eras and genres, subgenres. He understands horror. He's influenced by horror. I get all that. I watch interviews with him, and he sounds like a guy who knows what he's talking about. But supposedly, there are interviews out there where Rob Zombie is asked about Halloween. And he says something to the effect of, you know, maybe not Halloween necessarily. Maybe he uses that as an example. He's like, about remakes. He's like, why do remakes? It's pointless to do a remake. Why remake something? If it's a classic for a reason. If it's done perfectly the first time, don't fuck with it. Why not remake crappier films? Like old bad films, make them better. I agree. They don't sell well. That's fucking why. Then another interview where he says, well, I was thinking, with Halloween, there's a lot of things that could be improved on, some things that, I would like to touch upon. And I think some of his examples was he talked about how, he always thought Loomis was just as crazy as Michael, which I wouldn't say that. I would say the obsession parallels with good and evil. I think he even said Loomis seems drunk, like Donald Pleasance does in the original film, which I never got that. And then another interview, he would go on to say, I'm not going to explain why Michael Myers is evil. The first half of this movie is showing why he's evil. And not only that, it is done in the most uncreative, cliche, stereotype, criminology textbook, by the bullet points, how I became a serial killer. You can go down the checklist. I mean, I got plenty of shit on serial killers. I know a bunch of shit about, all the stereotypes. Because also, it's a Rob Zombie film. So, he has to... Well, first, let's look at the original. Well, I don't want to compare them because I want to do an episode of Reslash, but... Okay, so Rob Zombie. It's a Rob Zombie film. So he has to make Rob Zombie characters by making them the most despicable white trash possible. Okay? So he does that. Bad home environment. He doesn't have a father figure. But the father figure he has, like a stepfather, who is an alcoholic, at the very least verbally abusive. His mom's a stripper, and everyone knows it. His sister is the school slut, everyone knows it. He's picked on, he's bullied, he's got bullies. He's picked on by bullies, he's misunderstood by teachers. And the cherry on all of it, he tortures and kills small animals. Thank you, Rob Zombie. The character who was once called the Shape, because he is just the shape of a human being. That's the only shred of humanity that he has, his shape. He's just a force of unstoppable, pure, senseless evil. You turn him into Henry Lee Lucas. You turned him into Charles Manson. You turned him into... I mean, seriously. Take your fucking pick. You turned him into one of these. Encyclopedia Serial Killers. I've had this book for fucking years. This is one of my Bibles. I love this book. Or any of those books on this shelf. Now I'm getting sidetracked looking at those because I'm more interested in those than this. But that's what he did. And I know you're probably thinking, well, I found it interesting before. Why is it not interesting now? Because Michael Myers is just senseless evil. When you give him the most cliche serial killer backstory that we didn't even need to see to begin with, it takes the mystique out of him. Leatherface has a fucked up family down in the deep south. Okay. Jason Voorhees, he was a mama's boy who was picked on. He was neglected. And he was left to drown. Mother tried to avenge him. She got killed. Now he's avenging her. Kids who have sex, do drugs, and drink. Okay. Michael Myers is just, there's no rhyme or reason. He just does it. He's just unstoppable blackness, evil. And now that I finally mulched over that enough, another thing about Rob Zombie is even though he makes the most, I think Rob Zombie is also a fan of like the really grimy like Scorsese films of the 70s, kind of like what Joker was kind of harkening back to. Films like Taxi Driver. Like, go watch Taxi Driver. Like, when he goes into the porno theater and buys snacks. Tell me you don't just want to take a shower after watching that. You know, it's like he's trying to make just the most scummiest people. And the dialogue doesn't help. The first scene we see with this family is literally like, yeah, I'll fucking skull fuck the shit out of you and fuck you in the fuck. I mean, I swear in my videos, I say fuck in my videos. I'm not a prude to profanity, but it does get to a point where when you don't have words in between the profanity, it literally sounds like an edgy, angsty 14-year-old was just said, do whatever. You go and write whatever you want. Hell, even when the girls are walking back from school, like when we get up to the present day, like the Laurie Strode day, when they're talking like, that fucking bitch, can you fucking believe that fucking bitch, that C-U-N-T, needs to get fucking laid, that fucking, And, oh, fuck. And, you know, at first I was like, oh, Malcolm McDowell, cool. Alex, Clockwork Orange. Another well-respected British actor who can go over the top sometimes. I kind of have mixed feelings. He's not Donald Pleasance in this, but he's way better than he is in this shit. Because fuck that movie. And yeah, I'm all over the place because it's just... This movie is... you drag it on so long. The scene in the bathroom with the kid from Spy Kids is the fucking bully. Yeah, that whole... He has the flyer of the strip club, which is called Red Hot Pussy Lickers. No. Red Hot Pussy Lickers is the booze shop in House of 1,000 Corpses. Oh, God. So, Rabbit Red. That's the name of the strip club. Newspaper flyer with his mom, of course, played by Sheri Moon Zombie. He's doing all this shit like, hey, you think she'll let me... You think she'll suck my dick for a quarter? Let me suck your tits? And it just goes on. And then he's in the principal's office. They even pull a dead cat in a plastic bag out of his backpack. And the mother's like, so we found a dead cat. Okay. He kills the fucking bully. And this kid, Dag... Did he even say it on here? Dag Farch? What the fuck? You know, I'm not saying this to be shaming, but you know, he looks like a fat Dakota Fanning. He does. Neighbors are home. That's great. And I just lost where I was. So, yeah. He doesn't just kill his sister. He kills stepdad, played by William Forsythe. Kills his sister's boyfriend. He's dressed as a clown like he was in the original film, but the boyfriend has the Michael Myers mask. So he puts that on. So you have like this clown bobblehead fucking Michael Myers that looks stupid. Oh, I just remembered one other thing I was going to say. I'm sure there's some people that like the idea that he has this whole investigation discovery fucking background. Like, oh, well, psychologically that makes sense. He tortures the animals. Bad home, like, they say that's. I like they did that. I heard that's common amongst serial killers. If you think that, I'm not making fun of you. I'm just trying to make myself laugh by doing that voice. If that's your preference for Michael Myers, that by all means, I'm not going to take that from you. I like my Michael Myers to just be senseless evil. Evil for the sake of being evil. Not to mention the mommy complex he has in this fucking film. And then you just get stupid scenes like, well, one, this kid's fucking whiny, like, I got this thing, The fucking nurse that's supposed to watch him, and she sits back too when he has a fork and he kills her. Then we jump to present day, and little fucking fat Dakota Fanning turns into 7'10" Tyler Mane. That makes sense. And then Cameo fucking City. At least in the one of these cuts. This is the unrated director's coming. Okay, you have Danny Trejo. You have Udo Kier. Ron Howard. Clint Howard. You have Clint Howard. You get so many people. I actually know that the cameos was actually one of the complaints of this film. William Forsythe, even though he's not a cameo, he has a role, but there's another Rob Zombie actor. Ken Foray. Yeah, he kills Ken Foray in a shitter. Because, oh yeah, Rob Zombie had a thing about the original, something about the coveralls. Like, how is it he got those coveralls? Why was it those coveralls? And how is it he learned how to drive? So what does he do? He gives them filthy coveralls. Instead of driving a car, he drives a tractor trailer truck. Is that more believable, Rob? Makes it back to Haddonfield. Oh, the mom is played... Laurie's mom is played by Dee Wallace. One of my favorite scream queens of the 80s. And you get Scout Taylor Compton as Laurie Strode, who is literally the worst Laurie Strode they could have had. Because Laurie Strode is supposed to be the reserved, kind of carries her books like this, bookworm, straight A student. This Laurie Strode is just as raunchy as everyone else. They just put cute little glasses on her to make her look smart. Like, she's making jokes about fucking her teacher with a bagel. But she has glasses, so she's a straight A student. Of course, Annie is played by Danielle Harris, who played Jamie in 4 and 5. And Sheriff Brackett's played by Brad Dourif. I will agree with Rambo Raft for Life. This would have been really interesting because Brad Dourif actually does turn in a good performance because he's a good character actor. For those that don't know, Brad Dourif, one, he played Billy Bibbit in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but he also voiced Chucky in all Chucky films and Child's Play. There's a difference. Except for the new remake. That was Mark Hamill. And, yeah. And from then on, it's the first film. You get the whole, see anything you like. You get Don't Rip My Blouse. It's expensive, idiot. You get... it's literally the same fucking thing. Only in this one, Michael goes to the Strodes house, kills Dee Wallace, it kills both her parents, and tries to do this like brotherly thing where he has a picture of him holding the baby because Laurie was a baby back when he killed his other sister. And oh yeah, this is a real great scene. Sheri Moon Zombie, after the last scene we see with Michael as a kid, she's watching home videos, and she fucking shoots herself. As soon as we don't see it, but we see the blood hit the screen, and then we hear the baby crying. So she shot herself with a baby at the house. And if you watch the director's cut, you get more cameos, because you get this wonderful scene where these two redneck orderlies, one is Courtney Gaines, who played Malachi in Children of the Corn. The other one was one of the banjo guys from Devil's Rejects. They take this new female patient into Michael Myers' room. They rape her in his cell. And he's got like these paper mache masks everywhere. And they're taking turns raping the girl in his bed while he's making a mask. They're touching all his masks, even though they know he doesn't like it when he touches things. They're wearing his mask. They're being loud. And they're shocked when he gets up and does something about it. So yeah, Rob Zombie to me, it's like, I've seen movies that are shocking and disturbing and can get under your skin. I feel like Rob Zombie tries a little too hard. Like, I don't know how I can make this sound right. Take the motel sequence from Devil's Rejects. Take that rape, the Michael Myers cell rape scene in this. It feels like someone is trying so hard to just be like, oh yeah, I'm going to put this rape in there, but they're not just going to do that. They're also going to do all this. It's going to be edited this way. It's going to be more horrific. It's really going to get people under their core. It's like, I feel, for lack of a better word, it feels forced. But it does. Like, the shock value feels forced in Rob Zombie films. And for a movie that was known for having a senseless, enigmatic killer with no blood, kind of like Psycho. Well, the blood-wise Psycho. Rob Zombie just went, everything that made Halloween, the original one, Rob Zombie did the opposite. And yeah, this movie made a lot of money. But, and yeah, he did do his own version. He had his own vision. I'll give him that. But, and I know a lot of people still like it. I much fucking prefer John Carpenter's original. I know Rob Zombie still stands by these films. And I mean, I commend him for that. You should be able to stand by, you know, your own art. But every aspect I look at in this film is just, I was actually going to make this analogy when I got to this film. Actually, I'll wait. Well, no. It reminds me of Tim Burton. You know, like when Tim Burton takes a known property, he puts his own thing on it. It doesn't always work. Batman, it did. Okay. Like Batman 89, it's a Batman film with a little bit of, you know, it feels like Tim Burton. Batman Returns is just a fucking complete Tim Burton movie with Batman in it. But I like Batman Returns. Batman 89, Batman Returns, because that's what happened when he got to this. He was given full creative control. I don't know what more I can say about this. Also, more about Scout Taylor Compton. She is just a screamy... What? I know Jamie Lee Curtis wasn't Sigourney Weaver in the first Halloween. I mean, she did spend a lot of time running and screaming, yes, but it did get to a point where she did fight back. You know, she did, when there was nothing else to do, she fought back. This one didn't at all. Up until the very end, when by chance she got the 6-shooter point blank to the face and finally got it to go off. Because Rob Zombie said, I'm not doing a sequel. It's done. My movie's done. 2 years later. I'm sure when I end this video, I'm going to think of a bunch more that I'm going to want to say. But, yeah, I think Rob Zombie missed the point of Halloween. Oh, the whole thing about bringing up about, like, his touch and everything, like, Tim Burton also. More so when I get to that film, but also with this one, like, why did... Like, he's trying to make it feel like the 70s. Even though it still takes place in present day, 2007, when we get to present day. He's trying to make it feel like the 70s. He had to put a Kiss t-shirt on young Michael Myers. And, you know, it's like he's... kind of like Devil's Rejects, how... You know, he had to give Otis the big beard, and he even has a beard in this. Like, he's trying to put himself in... And the thing is, I'm not even opposed to the look of Michael Myers in this. You know, a huge, hulking dude. I mean, yeah, it is more realistic for him to be kind of a normal guy. But, you know, it is kind of frightening to have a fucking... 7'19" friggin', you know, outhouse of a dude with that mask who's strong as shit. But yeah, when I think of everything I like about Halloween, it's the opposite in this. That's the bottom line. I think Rob Zombie missed the point. I think he is a huge fan of Halloween. You know, one interview I didn't hear about was maybe he was afraid of, you know, people accusing him of trying to do the same movie, or, oh, dude, you know, we always look forward to your fucked up movies because you're such a genius at being shocking that you pussed out by going Halloween. Or maybe he just wanted to do his own vision of a movie that he idolizes, which would be the original. Either way, this was a remake I was a fan of, and now it's one of the worst remakes for me. Not as far as a film, because it does still look like a good film. And if I could just isolate the kills and stuff, that, yeah, they're good kills, but for a Halloween movie, just for how polar opposite the original and remake is, yeah. While maintaining much of the story and just undoing what made the original the classic that it is. Yeah. God damn it. Rob Zombie's Halloween. And fuck it, I'm just gonna jump right into this one next. So stay tuned for that. Thank you.